Oh, we are. Lay Down, Look It Up is a great song. AOA Podcast back for another episode. Hello, Mercury. Hello, Robin. Saying hello to Neil, Laura, and Will. The whole entire crew is here. Everybody is saying hello to one another. And Rhonda dropped this little thing on us here. She knows someone in Israel right now who cannot leave. Only went on vacation for a few days. Eek. Eek. Not good timing. Not good timing. They got the sunny. Now you just can't leave. Israel-Iran conflict ongoing. The U.S. is scrambling assets into the Middle East. We'll go over what that all entails and what we can expect over the next 24 to 48 hours as President Trump leaves the G7 summit early to get back to the White House and get to planning. So we'll discuss that. Big day in the court for Diddy and company as actual footage from a freak-off is shown. We'll tell you how that went. Donald Trump's children announced the Trump Mobile. So we'll go over that announcement. The Minnesota tragedy, spam ticket texts. Are you getting those text messages where you're like, oh, you got to pay this fine and X amount? I got a lot of information on that for you. Plus the age-old question, over or under on the toilet paper, what's better? What's the proper way to go? Well, now we have scientists weighing in on it. Okay, science, my friends, science. This is no longer opinion. This is scientifically backed. We'll share all that with you and more coming up on this episode. Let's go. Blue deep, blue, 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 blue. So nice to be here with you. Appreciate you guys all being in the chat as always. Huge thank you to all of the AOA members. Those are the fine folks who contribute a monetary amount to us every month so we can continue to do the podcast. If you don't do that, you can click the link in the description right now and join for as low as $2.99, and you get fancy schmancy stuff shown to you, sent to you sometimes, discounts on merch, all sorts of other priority in the comments section. There's lots of fun stuff about being a member. So join up if you haven't done so already. Israel-Iran conflict. Kudos to the host of this episode for spelling Israel correct this time around. Appreciate that. Thanks everybody for the support as always. What's going on here? Well, the latest is a warning from President Donald Trump on Truth Social just a mere 2.5, 3 hours ago, saying Iran should have signed the deal I told them to sign. What a shame and a waste of human life. Simply stated, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I said it over and over again. Everyone should immediately evacuate Tehran. So this stark warning from the President of the United States on social media telling everybody to evacuate Tehran. The U.S. is mobilizing assets into the region. As I told you earlier, President Trump left the G7 summit early just so he can head back to the White House and jump right into the Situation Room to stay up to date on the latest and what's going on. Since we last left you on Friday, there's obviously been a slew of missile fire shared back and forth from both Israel and Iran. And, you know, somebody tagged me on a video that was like, it's weird how we all live in little bubbles, you know. This video was somebody basically saying, oh, if you live in America, the media is lying to you. It may look like Iran struck first, but really it was Israel that struck first. And I'm watching this video and I'm like, is anybody confused by this? We all know that Israel struck first. I mean, it's weird how people try and convince you that there are listen, are there narratives out there? Yeah, 100%. Like the media. Okay, of course, obviously all that stuff. But sometimes people are trying to invent things where there aren't things. Like, I don't think anybody was mistaken about who launched the first, strike. It was Israel. And it's weird that even that would make you think, well, then Israel is wrong. Well, no, because this was a preemptive strike to stop them from being able to continue to enrich uranium and create a nuclear weapon. Now, those are the facts. We can debate about, did they allow enough time to go? Was Israel's back really up against the wall? Were they really close to, doing this? I mean, some people estimate they were still months away, or perhaps even a year away. You might be thinking, well, you're months away. Well, I don't know. Is that enough time? I mean, these are all estimates. This is all based on spying and intelligence. Those things could be off. You got to figure, if you think they're 6 months away, now might be the time to strike so that you don't get too close, so that you're too late, so on and so forth. So I just found that to be so strange that people are like, there's a misconception out there in the media. I don't think there's a misconception anywhere. We all know what's going on for the most part. I mean, at least in this latest little bit, Israel went to the United States and said that they were going to strike. The United States said, you don't do that just yet. And Israel went ahead and did it anyway. Facts. They went and took out a whole bunch of people that were hardliners. I mean, described by everybody, our president and others, as hardliners. People that wouldn't back off of this stance of that they couldn't, not continue to enrich the uranium and all that stuff. So Israel took them out. Listen, I don't know who's wrong or right here, right? I mean, all we could do is go by what these officials are telling us and what we can see happening. And I don't think there's any mistaking that Israel struck first, but it's under the guise of they feel for their own safety that they cannot let this country become a nuclear power. And everybody you speak to across the board basically agrees on that fact, that this country, I shouldn't even say this country, I feel it feels unfair saying that this particular administration in Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. I don't know if anybody feels comfortable about countries getting nuclear weapons for the first time. And if you want to be like, that's so hypocritical. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Great. It's also safe. We all agree these are horrific weapons. We know that we have a ton of them. We know other countries have a ton of them. Nobody wants to start trading nuclear weapons around the world. You know what I'm saying? Nobody wants to start to see those things going off. So, I'm totally in favor, and I don't know anybody who's not in favor of seeing these things. Not only new countries not getting them, but perhaps maybe even other countries reducing them, if that's at all possible. Now, what's going on in the latest here? The U.S. is obviously scrambling assets into the Middle East, aircraft carriers, bombers, all sorts of, planes and different kinds of equipment being moved into the Middle East right now. You have to do this. And the reason why you have to do it is you have to protect the assets that are currently there. We have lots of bases. We have intelligence gathering people and locations, embassies, all sorts. Now you can let an embassy blow up. Who cares? It's a building. As long as everybody's out of it, doesn't really make too much of a difference. But you got to go in there and you got to sort of protect the assets that are available. Does that bring us one step closer to a full out war? It does. But what else are you going to do? You have to protect what is already out there. We already know that the United States has assisted Israel in shooting down some of the missiles that have come across, our way. And Secretary Rubio was pretty plain and simple saying that this attack, he said this the other day in a statement, this attack came from Israel, not the United States. Iran should not be responding to the United States. Now, Benjamin Netanyahu has gone on a tear of interviews, and just to surmise what he has been saying is basically that Israel has done the United States a favor by stepping in here. Yes, they're trying to, make sure that their people are safe and that their country isn't attacked. But Benjamin Netanyahu said, and I'm paraphrasing here, but it's pretty close to a quote, that these people are out for the United States of America. People meaning the administration. I don't want to lump in the people of Iran because, again, from everything that I've read from people that have been in that region, it's the people of Iran who don't have a huge issue with the United States of America. It's this current regime that's in there, the Ayatollah and everybody. So there's that. But Netanyahu has said, and he claimed that Iran tried to assassinate Donald Trump twice. He wouldn't clear up an answer if that was the Butler, PA thing and then the Florida golf course thing a few weeks later. If you remember those two incidents back to back, one obviously Butler much more famous. The Florida one never really materialized into anything. That was sort of more easily forgotten. But I don't know if he was talking about those two things or some other two things. But basically, Netanyahu was like, "Hey, we're kind of doing everybody a favor. Trump's the guy they want. They want to kill that guy. They want to get into it with the United States. But at the same time, they've not hidden their feelings on Israel. I mean, the Ayatollah himself was like tweeting during the last time that they were doing negotiations. He was tweeting like death to Israel and all this shit to the sea, all the stuff that you see, Iran's connections to funding Hamas and everything that happened with the October 7th attacks there is pretty well known. So it's not like this is coming out of nowhere, However, you look at it and you got to say, okay, well, they went in and they had strategic strikes on their facilities that were developing nuclear weapons. And they expanded that into, power plants and some other locations. Okay, just to clear up and make sure. But at some point, and I said this when Israel was striking Palestine, at some point, you have to consider the mission done and over with, right? What's the end game here? Is it continuing to strike until you have every last possible nuclear site done? I don't think anybody would have a problem with that. But if you're just going to continue to launch rockets into metropolitan areas in Iran, that's where this gets a little sticky. That's where this gets a little complicated. Because I don't think anybody wants to see that. And all we've seen basically after this initial strike are basically just these two countries launching rockets into metropolitan areas, Iran to Israel and Israel to Iran. Anybody with a brain in their head can only assume that there's more to come, especially in Tehran, for what the president just put out on Truth Social, telling everybody to evacuate immediately. One would gather that there is more to come here. I don't know if Israel and the United States or just one without the other is comfortable enough going in there and killing a country's leader and ushering in a regime change. Because as we know, especially in the Middle East, regime changes can be tricky. I mean, even regime changes not in the Middle East can be tricky. You think you're getting a better deal with these other people coming in, and then all of a sudden, holy crap, new boss, same as the old boss. These people could be just as shitty and awful. Tough taking out a country's leader because he's kind of like you break it, you buy it. You got to be in there to help usher in a new regime. You got to be in there to help bring new leadership to the table so that these countries just don't go running around rudderless. Excuse me. You don't want angry, sergeants and generals and captains and whatever rising through the ranks and making things even worse. You got to have a plan if you're going to take out a country's leader. And I don't know if there's a plan for that at the moment, at least not that I've seen. Nobody has shared anything with me right now. I'm still waiting. Hold on, wait, let me check my emails. Nope, nothing yet. But I'll wait to weigh in on that because we all know sometimes podcasters have the most common sense in the world, sadly. But there is an instance, and it's funny because Tucker Carlson was trending hard earlier today because he was doing a show with Bannon basically where he said quite hilariously that Bush 2, his administration was ruined over the war, and he doesn't want Trump getting involved in a war which could dominate his administration instead of him getting things done, which was laugh out loud funny to me because I remember being alive during the Bush 2 administration, and I don't remember. I mean, maybe there were plans to do other things, but it seemed like that fucking. Oh, now granted, this was all a result of 9/11, but it seems like that war, that whole Iraq thing, weapons of mass destruction. I mean, none of that was necessary. I don't feel bad for that person or administration whatsoever. They chose to go down that route. Everybody and their mother was talking about the fact that this country didn't have any of this stuff, that they were barely surviving on their own. And still we went on into a war that lasted for 20 years. That went from his administration to the Obama administration to the Trump administration to the Biden administration until he pulled us out. So that was an odd take from Tucker Carlson. It seemed like, like Bush was such a victim of the circumstance. Like, I don't know about that, because it seems like although the operations in Afghanistan seem necessary to get Al Qaeda and everybody else out of the way, that whole Iraq thing seemed unnecessary and very much our fault, and still feels like we should be apologizing to people for some of that stuff. Not that I feel bad for Saddam Hussein, but we shouldn't have been there. Why do we need to be here now? There is supposedly an underground base where the Iranians are, working on these nuclear weapons. Israel right now, in their capacity, from what I understand, don't have any undersurface bombing capabilities, meaning all of their bombs and rockets that they're launching, if it's on the surface, they can hit it. If it's buried deep underground, that takes a special kind of weapon. Not a lot of people have those weapons. Israel completely lacks the capability. The B-1 and 2 bombers can drop the appropriate bombs that will burrow deep underground and blow up whatever is underneath there. So if this particular facility in Iran, which they're looking at, is one of the last places that has not been destroyed, it's going to be nobody else but the United States that can possibly do it. And so as we scramble jets, equipment, aircraft carriers into that area, don't be surprised if we become a part of this operation. Now, just because we bomb one thing doesn't mean this is a full-scale war. But it doesn't mean that possibility is not just hanging out there, because if any other country wants to get involved, i.e. our favorites, China, Russia, North Korea, certainly this is an excuse to start such a thing. Now, do I really think that these countries want to do that? I don't. I don't think that Russia is in any position to. I mean, Russia's having a hard time holding off Ukraine, and Ukraine is tiny. Ukraine is weak, if we're going to quote Kramer here. Seinfeld reference. Count it. I don't think that Russia wants to or can handle something like that. China is the most equipped country to do it, but I just still think, I don't know. I don't think that they would right now at the moment. I just don't think that they would. And I don't know what the fuck is going on in North Korea. And I don't think anybody does. So I'm not too worried about North Korea at the moment. Bunker busters, is that what they call it? Fly NY? Yeah, I think that's probably right. Yeah, they have stuff that could go down pretty far. And again, from what I understand, we're the only ones who have that sort of a thing. Robin saying this is a good point here. They're using the same "will be greeted as liberators" BS. This is a tough one, man. I mean, this is a tough one. I don't wish there to be anything. What I wish is that Israel didn't do this just yet. I'd like to think that there was a little bit more time to work on this kind of a thing. But if they say it was go time, it was go time. The only reason why I doubt Israel at this moment is because the United States, basically, Donald Trump said, you don't do this yet. And I think that makes me think that perhaps we did have a smidge more time, on all of this stuff. Maybe we had a little bit more time here. But we're in it now, right? So what are you going to do? We obviously have to protect Israel. They're an ally in that part of the world. There's a few countries that are important. Turkey, Israel, we have bases there. It's a basis for our operations. It helps us keep an eye on what's going on and all that kind of stuff. Robin says Netanyahu isn't trustworthy. I can't argue with that. Again, he's our ally. But I can't argue that perhaps he jumped the gun. Again, I said this when he started, going after Palestine. Like at some point you're going to become the bad guy. You go from exacting revenge on the people who did this horrific attack on you to, you're just taking buildings out now in major cities. And I think we saw that point with Israel. And now it's like they've kind of taken a break from that to start to do this. And, what are you going to do? I mean, Paul is challenging me here, said, I knew Ant would back him meeting Netanyahu, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Not back him? Again, these are our allies in preventing a country that nobody wants to have a nuclear weapon to get a nuclear weapon. Are we going to turn on our allies? I understand it's easy to get mad at Benjamin Netanyahu. I get it. Like I wish he would have waited a little bit, but they didn't. They took out a lot of people that were no help to any of us, right? That were hardliners that were driving us to the brink of this war. A lot of those people are gone. I think now's the time to see if you can come up with a diplomatic solution. I think they got to work really hard at that. I am not in favor of regime change, but there is going to come a point where the Ayatollah is either going to dig in or they're going to not. Can you trust those people? Because like I said the other day, I know that Donald Trump ripped up the agreement, but were the Iranians going to stick with that agreement anyway? And if there is, like I said, one more facility or perhaps more facilities that are underground that other places can't get to, are we going to just be honest, Paul? Let's say we're all in agreement there is an underground nuclear facility that nobody else can get to, and you don't know how far along they are in developing these weapons. From an intelligence standpoint, the intelligence community unilaterally agrees that they continue to enrich uranium. Why would you enrich uranium unless you're making a nuclear weapon, right? So that is out there. And that this administration has no room for Israel and has no room for the United States, right? Both of those places. Are you going to just let them? Are we supposed to let them go because Benjamin Netanyahu is kind of a dick? I mean, these are real world complicated problems. This is a real complicated issue, and again, not every hand that you get dealt is going to be a perfect hand. So sometimes you got to just react and go with what you got. And that's what I think we're seeing right here. What I think is really important is that whatever does occur happens quickly. That's why I'm not in favor of regime change. Again, you break it, you buy it. You do that, you're there for 5, 10 years, no matter what. I don't think anybody wants that. I think we'll continue to deal with the assholes that are running that country right now, just so we don't have to have a full-on regime change. Or if they're going to have a revolution, or there is going to be a revolt in Iran, you deal with it as it happens. You let them have it out organically. Rhonda says, I don't know if we'll ever know the exact truth. Yeah, we may not. We may not. And yes, that is the whole point. This country could build a weapon that could land in Times Square. You have to take those things seriously. That's why everybody in the world has been working on not having this country have a nuclear weapon for the last 15 to 20 years. So Netanyahu's the guy. What are you going to do? Do we wish we had a more trustworthy guy there? Okay, sure. But right now, he's the guy. And the evidence that Iran doesn't want us or Israel to exist is more than evident. It is more than readily available. If our country is smart, they'll go in, do whatever needs to be done quickly. Don't change the leader. Try and negotiate. Do whatever you can to get them to agree. Regular inspections, all the same old jazz. Let NATO handle it, right? All of that stuff. Do all of those things, The difference here, Paul, is Paul said Israel has nukes and won't allow inspections. The difference here is Israel is not going to try and kill us. I think that's important. I'd like to focus on that for a little bit, right? Because Russia wouldn't be a problem either. Russia wouldn't be a problem if there wasn't the possibility of, hey, maybe one day they'll turn around and kill us. You can go up and down the list of all the places. England has nuclear warheads, right? Nobody busts their balls about inspections. Why? Because they're not going to turn it on to New York and fire away. Okay, that's why we don't give a shit. That's the difference. The countries that we're not so sure about, we'd like them to not have nuclear weapons. Do you know what I mean? So, what does Israel have? I don't know. Does it matter what they have? Right now, at the moment, it doesn't, because they're not going to turn it on us. Any country is going to feel this exact same way. We got to worry about the countries that could possibly turn it on us. And that's all the usual suspects at the moment. Russia, China, North Korea, not really, I guess, since we made friends with him during the last Trump administration. Fuck, I don't know. But the point is, everybody unilaterally agrees this country can't have nukes, and you got to go in there and figure that out. And if our ally in the area says it was getting a little too close to comfort, we had to go in and do what we had to do, because it's not just us, it is them too that would be harmed. Sometimes you got to deal with it, I missed the cuck joke. Did Israel cuck us a little bit with this? Yeah, I feel like Israel, for at least a minute, Israel put the United States of America in a cuck chair. We were like, please don't do this thing. And they were like, sit in the cuck chair and watch us while we do it. Okay. I mean, that's basically what happened. And now we're having to deal with the whole thing. It doesn't mean it's World War III. Doesn't mean it's not World War III, but it feels nice to say it doesn't mean it's World War III and leave it at that. Could it get out of control? It could. I don't think so. I don't think it will. I think cooler heads will prevail. I don't know who Iran. I mean, and here's the problem too. When you think about it, Russia's still doing business with Iran. That's the other part of this too. It's like, you got to put a stop. Like, there's got to be sanctions. There's got to be things put into place, and the fact that Russia, has continued to do business with them is not a good thing. So you got to talk to Russia as well. And there's a whole Russia-Ukraine thing. So that needs to be all figured out. I got to be honest with you. Donnie T has got his work cut out for him. This is not an easy hand that he's been dealt. And he's got a lot of hard work to do, maybe even harder than any other president has had to deal with in the last 5, 10, 15, 20 years. And even that, if we're going to be totally honest, I wish we had somebody else, perhaps a little bit more charismatic and diplomatic. The fact that he is a wild card, I don't think helps in these situations. He seems to think it has, or it will, but I don't know. I would like somebody that has a bit more experience with foreign diplomacy, because that is not an easy thing to handle. And the way he handled the Zelensky visit to the Oval Office, I don't think was the best. I mean, obviously, lots of people have had to walk back some of the things that he has said over the course of time. Him and Netanyahu have a good relationship, so that's a plus, But if I had to choose who I want on the world stage negotiating these things, I don't know if I don't think he'd be my first pick. My only hope is that Secretary Marco Rubio is up for the task too, because he is equally as important throughout this whole entire thing to make sure that everybody stays cool and above water. It's easy for us to Monday morning quarterback while we're sitting here on our couches with the remotes. I mean, put yourself in a situation where people are just, that Spider-Man meme where they're just holding guns at each other. Put yourself in that situation and try and get out of there with nobody getting killed. These are not easy situations to handle, Trump is not running things, the deep state is. Well, fuck, Paul. Let's hope so. Let's hope so in this instance. Let's hope deep state's got a lot of opinions, because I worry about some of the people that are in the room with that man too. Those are not again, I'm sure there's nice people in there. I worry about some others and having some real world experience from what we have seen. What was it? Mike Walter just came out the other day that he got the boot because he was negotiating. I forget now what it was. He was literally negotiating something without the president knowing. And that, I can't remember what it was, but that literally just came to light and was like confirmed the other day that that's basically what happened there. That he was like, going on. I don't know if it was Iran or what it was, but I forget what it was, but that's basically why Mike Waltz got the boot. It wasn't the whole signal messaging scandal thing. Can you imagine living in these places? I feel so bad. No, it's horrible. It's fucking horrible. The whole thing is a fucking nightmare. Israel, Gaza, it's everything going on with the Palestinians, Iran. But again, this is Iran pumping money into Hamas for years. That's the other part of it too. People give so much shit to the Israelis, but these people, there's multiple people, organizations, groups, countries that just want to see these people dead and wiped out. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't understand why there's always a gun pointed to their head. It really doesn't make sense to me anymore. And I'll be honest with you. Those people got to go. It's not the Israelis and Benjamin Netanyahu. Again, plenty of criticism to go around for Bibi. But you're literally talking about people that are being threatened constantly, always. And let's not forget the Holocaust in their back pocket. Like, that was not that long ago. Okay. And the whole world just kind of stood around waiting and not acting as fast as they should have. And the amount of Jewish people that were killed, so if you're wondering, like, why do we have to be there? Well, that's a really big reason why. On top of the fact that strategically for the Middle East, Israel is a strong, the same thing with Turkey. We got bases over there, all that stuff. You gotta have friends in those areas. You gotta have strategic, bases, and those countries, those two in particular, allow that stuff to happen. You know, Israel is important to the United States in more ways than one. And so we have to have their back. It's important. It's important. I don't want them to drag us into a war. That's not what I'm saying. But it's important that we neutralize, this threat. Plain and simple. That's not a machine. That's not propaganda. I'm not getting paid by it. I'm not Tim Pool. I'm not taking money from the Chinese government. Podcaster shot from one podcaster to the other. It's a podcast war I'm starting right now. I just Israeled Tim Pool with that little comment. Did you see that? I snuck right into Tim Pool's little area, built some drones, and set them off and exploded it. Because Tim Pool definitely took money from the Chinese government during the election. Whether it was unbeknownst to him or not, that shit happened. And Russia backs Iran. Russia buys energy from Iran. Russia does a lot of business from Iran. That's why people are acting like the World War III is possible. It's not impossible. I don't think it's probable. I'll hope cooler heads prevail, but it's you can see it there, because if you have to get Russia to stop doing business with Iran, they're going to have to get their energy from somewhere else. That is going to have to be helped and negotiated with the United States of America. Russia's going to hold that as a chip and be like, okay, if you want us to do something else, then you got to help us out with the Ukraine. You got to give us this, or don't let them into NATO, or whatever the fuck that crazy asshole wants. It ain't easy. This isn't easy how this has all been unfolding and playing out. That's why, thank God, the India-Pakistan thing stopped, because that's another thing that you don't need going off right now at the moment. Those two setting weapons off at each other. So I hope Trump is happy. This is what he wanted, right? He said the world needed him. He wanted to come in and do these things. This is part of it, big man. Shit's complicated, and you can't be like, well, what are we going to do? It's not our fault. It's not how this shit works. You got to go in there and fix it. You were going to go in there and negotiate the best deals, and you were going to go in there and do this and that and end wars on the first day. We're 6 months in, big man, and shit seems to be unraveling a little bit. So fucking get it together. It's Trumpy's time to get it together here. It's really time that a lot of that stuff moves forward pretty quickly. It's time to get in there and figure out what all these countries need to stop doing what they're doing. You got to kind of get a little bit more involved and stop letting other people, try and do the negotiations. It might be time for Big Dog to get in there and make some shit happen. All right, moving over to the Diddy trial. So two interesting points from the Diddy trial. They gave juror number 6 the full boot. Last week, the juror was excused. Then the defense was trying to get the juror back. This juror is, I believe it's a African American male. I think it's a male. It feels weird to talk about a person that way. They were worried about the jury becoming less diverse if this person was excused, but basically it came down to candor. And today the judge made the move and said they got to go. It's weird how it all kind of panned out. Like, they said they lived in Brooklyn or the Bronx or whatever it was. And then later on, they said they lived in Jersey. And then they asked the juror flat out, where do you live? They couldn't give a straight answer. They just felt like they weren't handling this. Again, no candor. So juror 6 is excused. Obviously, there's alternate jurors in there, and they can obviously move on with the trial while excusing some people. So that person's out. Second thing is the jurors, what was left of them, got to see video of freak-offs. I believe 3 different events. The total amount of footage was somewhere around 2 minutes between the 3 different events. And the jurors were given headphones, and the screen that was showing the jury this wasn't visible to anybody else in the courtroom. So the gallery, the press, everybody, the media, they didn't get to see anything. It was just the jurors. They didn't get to hear anything. Again, the jurors were wearing headphones. It was just them. Some of the reaction that the reporters saw was one person was wincing a little bit, and another juror put their like hands on their face because they were like so horrified at what they were seeing. So I don't know what was in there. Could have been anything from just really dirty dancing or, you know, people exposing themselves down to the worst things that we can think about having seen Diddy's closet. Let's not forget sports sheets. Still don't know what those are. Lint brushes, Miralax, overwhelming amounts of baby oil and lubricants. So Lord knows what that could have been in that video. But to get people visibly wincing and covering their face and everything couldn't have been too good for Diddy. Again, people are talking about it's very ambitious that the prosecution is going for the charges that they're going for. However, nothing really seems to be going Diddy's way here with any of this stuff. So again, I can't imagine him walking away from that. Rhonda says, I want to see that video. Yeah. Do you? Because I was thinking about this too. And this is a legit question. I'd love an answer from everybody in the live chat right now. If you're watching this, comment below. Would you really want to see those freak off videos? I know curiosity. The immediate instinct is, I'd love to see what that is. I know there's curiosity there. But would you actually really love to see it? Think back to 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Remember the early days of the internet when 2 Girls, 1 Cup was going around? I don't know if you know this, but everybody kind of talked about what that was. And then the video, people probably heard about it first before actually watching the video. Did you watch that video? It was a rough one. I don't think I ever did. I don't know if I did or not, or somebody flashed it at me. Because I don't really remember it. Because I feel like that's something you would remember. I just vaguely remember it being bad. But I can't remember if what I'm picturing is what I actually saw or what I imagined how horrible and horrific it would be. 2 Girls, 1 Cup is pretty close as I think, this would get. Rhonda's still in. Absolutely. Bird says, I might throw up. Debbie's a no. Being from the UK, the term astroglide brings up one hell of a mental image. Jay Sams has been probably one of the videos. Well, now you know why she hasn't been on the show too often. Okay. I'm trying to distance ourselves. Yeah, I don't know if Mercury's a no. I don't know if I could actually sit there and watch that. I feel like doing this, I could do it to tell you guys about it. But if I didn't have this, I would be an immediate no. Immediately no. Immediately no. That's an immediate no. I'd pass. If I'm just a average old Anthe citizen who doesn't pass along information to other people, if I don't have to worry about that part of it, I would be like, no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to know. Sometimes you do want to see it though, because like my imagination can run away with me. So sometimes it helps to see, because what I imagine is going to be worse than what actually happened. But in the case of Diddy and the freak off videos, I don't know if I could actually imagine how horrific that all really was. So I would be a no. I would not be watching that video. I really, really wouldn't be watching that video. But the jurors, and by the way, they did, during jury selection, they did ask the jurors, could you sit through a video? And the ones who said yes are the ones who got selected. The ones who said no, you got to go. So they knew this was coming. They really knew this was coming. But nobody knows what was in the video. We've seen other videos from freak offs. Like I've seen the one where Diddy's like telling everybody, oh, the kids have to go. It's adult time. Like that was creepy and weird enough for me. I had to bow out of that shit. I couldn't deal with that shit. That was weird to be like, hey, the kids have got to go. Why are the kids there to begin with? It's just weird it's weird. It's the whole, I hated everything. I hate the whole part of it. The whole thing makes me weirded out. It's strange that the person running the free world right now produced two people who think it's a great idea in 2025 to launch their own mobile company. Because Eric and Don Jr. today announced Trump Mobile. And please don't mistake my delivery here when I tell you that I think I've been pretty fair with the current administration. This isn't I'm an independent, by the way. I'm not a registered Democrat by any means. And I'm really proud of that. I have clearly a lot of issues with the Democratic Party. I've got some issues with the Republican Party as well. And I'm coming to you with an open mind and an independent spirit. This is the dumbest fucking thing I have ever seen in my entire life. This idea of, I know what we need, another mobile company, is the height of stupidity. It's weird to me that during the most sensitive, possibly World War III moment, Donald Trump is in charge of making sure that doesn't happen. And on the same day, they're like, who wants to buy a gold phone, everybody? It really is both sides of this weird, bizarre spectrum that we're on of fever dream, where I can't help but think we're just going to wake up one day and it's going to be, I don't know, you choose 2019 or 2015. When did the world get weird? I'm not exactly sure. Felt like it got weird a couple times, but it just, I can't. Let me explain to you the depths of the stupidity on this. And I'm happy to add this to the screen-a-rooski here. I don't think, how big do we need to make this? I don't think I need to be that big. Boy, we still haven't got the sizing down. Oh, that's good. That's a fair. I like that. Okay. So, Trump Mobile. Where do you start? There's just so much. If you are an ardent Trump supporter, do you feel taken advantage of yet? I mean, because I'm wondering, at what point do you think, I think this guy's a real scam, right? I mean, where does that come into, where do you begin? Like, where do we begin? Where do we begin? Where do we begin? Because it's like, I understand the need for Truth Social, okay? You look at the landscape of the world and you go, we have a media landscape dominated by liberals. Social media now is dominated by liberals. We need to have a Fox News. We need to have an answer for liberal social media, Truth Social. Okay, I get it. Before that, by the way, it was What was the other one? Remember, there was a bunch of them that popped up at the same time. Okay, everybody's trying to invent a new social media always to cater to some sort of audience. But this idea of we need to be catering to MAGA people / Republicans, conservatives all the time for everything, I don't think that we do. Nobody was sitting there going, I like my phone and everything, but I just wish it wasn't so liberal. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's sitting there going, the iPhone is great, but I feel like if it was a person, it would have voted for Hillary. So therefore, I need another option. I don't know who the fuck All-American perform. See, this is what drives me crazy. All-American performance, everyday price. Not everything has to be American. It's American to buy non-American things. That's American, right? I don't know where we lost that whole thing, of like, we gotta get back to it. That's my impression of people. That's my impression of my conservative friends. We gotta manufacturing. It's like we gave that up a long time ago. And by the way, it wasn't average, everyday small business owners. It was bigwig, multimillionaire, most likely conservative people that were like, we can give our manufacturing to China. Fuck it. We got to make more profit this quarter. Right? I mean, that's basically what got us into this situation. And now there's like, we got to get back to make things in America. Manufacturing. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it at the moment. By the way, at a time, nobody's talking about this. We're still having this argument from 1984 at a time when AI is about to put a large majority of people out of work. Forget manufacturing. Forget it. We're talking about manufacturing jobs at a time when computer and robot automation is about to bust wide open. I mean, do you think there's going to be human beings left on these manufacturing lines any longer? Fuck no. We're lucky if we're still going to have human plumbers. And I got more news for you. Doctors? The speed in which AI can eliminate issues in a person, determine what your symptoms are and what the possibilities are, send you for tests. I can make an argument right now. This is not a popular thing to say. I can make an argument right now that we don't need doctors. Right now. How many doctors would you say there are in the United? 5 million, 10 million doctors, 20 million doctors? I can say comfortably, you could probably reduce that by half. I mean, shit, they've been doing it anyway. How many times you go to a doctor and you get the physician assistant or the nurses, whatever the fuck it's called, the paralegal of doctors? I don't know what they call it, nurse practitioner, whatever the fuck it is. How many times do you get those people? I get that. I've been at the doctor. I've been living at the doctor, right? Because all the stuff I'm going through. I get this the other day. Do you mind seeing the nurse practitioner? I go, are they wearing scrubs? Then just send them in the fucking room. I go, what difference? I wouldn't have known the difference if it was a doctor, a nurse practitioner, or a crazy person from the nut hut next door that broke out. Okay? And walked in here with a fucking stethoscope. Anybody you send in the room, you could prank those prank shows. You could prank me in 2 seconds with some of these fucking people. You know, these people that sell pills all the time. They're the people that lobby the doctors to use their drugs and not the competitors' drugs. Some of those fucking people walk in those doctors' offices with lab coats. And I would, if they walked into my room and went, take your pants off, turn and cough, I would do it. And they'd be like, what are you doing? What are you doing with Charlie over there? He's the fucking mailman. I'd be like, he fucking walked in here. I don't know. I don't know how it works. I'm not checking ID at the fucking waiting room door. I don't know how it all works. Do you mind seeing the nurse practitioner? I looked at the girl. I go, if I said no, what would my options be? Waiting 7 more hours for the doctor to come? Is there even a doctor here today? Or is it just a nurse practitioner? I go, don't even answer. I don't even fucking want to know. I don't even want to know. This is John. He does billing, but because the doctor's not here, we just fucking put a lab coat on him, gave him a stethoscope. Do you mind breathing deep for him? Yeah, whatever. It's fine. Doesn't make a difference really when you think about it. Anyway, went off on a tangent there. What was the point of all of this? Oh, we're losing all these jobs anyway. So we're going to sit here and try and get manufacturing back into the country. I think it's a little too late for that. You want to negotiate better trade deals, fine. But bringing manufacturing back to the United States of America? I don't think so, bud. I don't think so. All American performance, everyday price. Okay, $47.45 a month. When Don Jr. said, isn't that, see where we're going there? Yeah, I see where you're going, dickhead. I get it. And I hate it. I hate it. Because Trump was the 47th and 45th president. So 47, 45. See where we... Yeah, I got it. I see what you did there. Unlimited talk, text, and data. No contract, cancel anytime. International. I love how people go, no contract, cancel anytime. Yeah, that's the law now. So, international calling, all 100 destinations. Like, I give a shit. Free SIM kit and shipping. Bring your own phone. No credit check. There was also some talk in there about getting telehealth included in this, which I'm like, what fucking telehealth? Who signs up for a cell phone plan and goes, is telehealth included? Because I'd like to get some fucking medical advice while I'm at it. And just look at this website. What was this website put together in 5 minutes? Look at this stock photo. Sit here, Gary, and put your hand on the car. Doesn't Gary look like a phone customer? What the fuck? Who put this website together? Meghan Markle? I mean, Jesus. Fucking Meghan Markle's website looks just as shitty as this. This looks like the kind of person that wants to have a keepsake container come with their fucking strawberry jam, doesn't it? Fucking asshole. I love this woman. Pretend to talk on your phone. Let's get it. Can we get a bigger ficus behind you? What the fuck? This is a stock photo if I've ever seen one. And what's going on with this woman's elbows? Forget it. I don't even have time to get in with this woman. I got a lot of problems with her, and I got a lot of problems with this fucking guy right here. Gary is a problem. But this website was put together so shitty. Okay, so then now it's available for pre-order. All right, great. Take a look at this thing. Who the fuck photoshopped this? What the fuck is that? Have you ever seen a shit? This looks like a goddamn scam. Do you know when you go and you go to like a shitty site and you see this thing on the bottom, it pops up and it's like, this cell phone hacks. That's what this looks like. Holy shit. I've never seen anything look so shitty. It's just like not the same shape as a phone. It's just like a little too long. There seems to be a thumbprint. Is that like a screen on the bottom where the thumbprint thing is? Look at right here. Do you see that? Is that a thumbprint? What the fuck is happening here? Is the thumbprint behind the screen? Is there a little bar on the bottom like iPhones from 30 years ago? Fuck is happening here? Turning around and it's like, gotta engrave the American flag and it's gotta be gold, because Trump is gold. Put Make America Great Again. It doesn't matter. I mean, they go like this. Just put Make America Great Again in the fucking screen and these rubes will buy it. By the way, they fixed the website because earlier today it was riddled with misspellings and incorrect information. Like there were tech cell phone people that were like, this does not make sense. Like this phrase right here makes no sense. I think one of the things is still there where this says processor and RAM, and that's basically the RAM and no processor information. So, what is the processor? What's the processor? Processor and RAM. Here's the RAM. Don't worry about the processor thing. Just leave it out. Just fucking leave it out. Oh my God. This is the worst fucking photoshopping job that I have ever seen in my entire life. Look at the camera placement. It's essentially the iPhone camera placement, but just not good. Just not good. How long did they work on this for? 45 minutes? This is fucking awful. Also, let me make myself a little bit bigger here because it's kind of important when you're developing a cell phone. The camera system in the back. You see, I got the 3 lenses too on my fancy iPhone. But you see this other little white dot here? You know what that is? That's called a flash. You kind of need one of those. It's important. I don't see a flash over here. I don't see a flash in the Trump phone. So we're not going to have a flash. Do you know why? Because America has never been brighter. America has never been brighter, so we don't need a flash. You know, people tell me, I have this flash on my phone. I never use it. I told Don Jr., get rid of the flash. We don't need it. I spoke to a guy outside of Pittsburgh, said he never uses his flash. Trump phone, no flash. It'll be gold. Everything, every light source in the room will be reflecting off the gold. You don't need a flash. It works just fine for texting cucks. No down payment necessary. Phone's $499, by the way. $499. I wouldn't pay $499 for this. I bought one iPhone, and I've been trading it in and kicking in a couple extra bucks every year. That's it. And this last go around was like the worst because they were like, we'll just give you a phone for free. Just please. We know nobody's going to buy this. We'll just take it for free. We're in an era where you can literally walk into any cell phone store, any one of them, and they will give you a relatively new iPhone, the top of the line phone, or the top of the line Google Pixel phone for free when you sign a contract. But we have to pay Trump $500. The level of fucking stupidity behind this is beyond me. I thought Meghan Markle was the dumbest person in business, and I sit corrected because this is the most stupid out of everything. The fucking Trump watch has a purpose. The stupid trading cards, even the dumb fucking coin, okay? It's a way to get to the president of the United States to bribe your way in for a favor. I get it. All seems, I don't love it, but I get it. This I don't get. I don't fucking get it. This is like a bit. When I saw Trump Mobile, I go, no, this has got to be a bit. And then somebody sent me a clip of, they're like, there's going to be a press conference today. And I'm like, this can't fucking be happening. And then when I saw that, I go, that's hilarious. I wonder what the press conference said. And then I go and look, and the thing that I thought was a joke is what you're looking at on the screen right now. How fucking embarrassing is this? Okay, and let me let you in on a little secret in case you didn't know. And I only learned this because of my good pal, Ryan Reynolds, and the fine folks over at Mint Mobile. There's basically 2 phone companies, AT&T and Verizon. That is it. T-Mobile exists. T-Mobile puts their stuff on one of those 2 place antennas. Now, T-Mobile, I'm sure, has some antennas on their own, but basically for the most part, the 3 companies, T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon, that's it. Every other phone company you see, including Mint Mobile, leases space from those other companies, which means they're buying a product and reselling it to somebody else. What happens when that happens? Markup. So Trump comes in, the Trump phones, the Trump Mobile is on the T-Mobile network. Might as well just call Trump Mobile T-Mobile. It's T-Mobile. And so why would you go to Trump, pay $4.99 for the phone and $47.45 for the service when you could just go to T-Mobile and get the phone for free and pay less for service? Why? Because America? Anybody who buys this deserves to be hit in the face with a brick. There's no other way. How else can I? This is the quickest way to show that you're a fucking idiot. As if you think that this is a good idea and you're going to go buy this phone. I can't. The most mentally unwell Donald Trump supporter First of all, probably shouldn't have $4.99 to their name to buy one of these things. But that person, right? What's the fucking, who's the guy? Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk doesn't buy, like, does Charlie Kirk buy this phone? Like, who's buying the phone? If I buy the phone, do I get to have dinner at the White House? Because I can't see you moving any product any other way. I don't. If you like the idea of a cheaper service than a Verizon or an AT&T can provide for you, then great. Go to T-Mobile, because that's what they're in the business of. And all these other places are just buying T-Mobile and reselling it to you. So what are we doing here? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? You don't even, they announced they're taking pre-orders off of a photoshopped image. Who would buy, who's, how? I was so comfortable with Meghan Markle being the business embarrassment of the planet. And that has shifted. They all went on every fucking show today, Don Jr. and Eric, going, isn't this great? Isn't this great? And they're going, and this is how they're selling it to you. We see a need for this. Now, there's a need for Truth Social. Okay? I get that. I see how the left took social media too far, as they tend to do, and you needed a little bit of a correction. I wouldn't be caught dead on Truth Social, but I get it. I understand it. By the way, for people who want like that conservative type, just go to have you been to Facebook lately? That's fine. That works. You got Facebook. But okay, whatever. Truth Social. I get that. And then they go, we need crypto because all the banks stopped conservatives from doing business. What? Eric was like, oh, nobody knows that more than I do. What the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? Oh, and by the way, if you want to talk about banks being used as like being weaponized against people, why don't we weaponize the banks against the people that did business with Jeffrey Epstein? Why don't we do that? So nobody's been able to do that, but they've been able to mess with the conservatives. Okay. I'll buy that. There's no need for a new mobile. I have to move on. I can't. There's no need for, AOA mobile coming soon. Yeah, exactly. Here. Hold on. Ashbeth. That's what my grandma used to tell me. Ashbeth. Hold on. You're watch the birth of AOA mobile right here. This is going to be amazing. This is, here we go. And then we'll do this, and then, okay. Wait, hold on. Just bear with me now. We're creating a whole entire company. This takes a second. Okay. Done. Here we go. AOA mobile. There you go. We're going to have a phone with a screen on it that'll display things like phone. And then we're going to have the camera. And what you're going to notice about the AOA mobile camera, what makes it unique, is we have square lenses on our camera. That's what makes it really unique. See, the old round way of having a phone, a camera lens, feels very dated. Feels almost, how can I say this? Like what the communists would want us to have. You're not a communist, right? See, in America, we have square lenses on our camera. Why? Because the American flag is a rectangle shape, and so are our camera lenses. So, America. I mean, if you hold the AOA phone this way, it kind of looks like an American flag. You know what I'm saying? And so pre-order now. So give me $100. Give me $499, and I'll get you one. I mean, let's be honest. I want you to look at this. I want you to look at this. What's the difference? The gold color? What's the difference? Do you have any confidence in buying this phone? You don't? Then why would you have confidence buying this one? Because they're both drawings. One was on a computer and one was with a Sharpie. They're both drawings. I want a list of everybody that purchases this phone. I am all about freedom of speech. I'm all about the Constitution. I think it should all be thrown out the window. And everybody who buys this thing, we should round them up and put them on an island somewhere. And not one of the nice ones we have in the Caribbean, one of the cold ones we have up at the top of Canada where nobody knows what the fuck is going on around there. That's where they should go. That's where those people need to be. Okay? You will never hear me ever talk about getting rid of the basic Bill of Rights and our Constitution, except in this situation. I can't even be the level. We have to move on. We have to move on. This is worse than anything Meghan Markle has ever done. And I never thought I would say that because she's the worst. She's fucking terrible. But here comes Beavis and Butthead Trump giving her a run for her money. I'm so mad at them for fucking. It was so much easier to hate Meghan Markle because she's so hateable because she sucks. She's such a shitty business person. And here comes fucking Dumb and Dumber going, let's have a fucking phone. Isn't this great? We got a fucking phone. You know how hard it is to make a phone? And then they go like this. It'll be manufactured in the United States. Yeah, when? Because I know this shit's getting made in China or India at first. Because they're like, we're hoping to bring it to St. Louis. What? What did St. Louis do to you? This is not a viable business. Am I? Okay. The Minnesota tragedy. This person went crazy and decided to go shoot part of the state legislation over there, killed the speaker of the House and her husband, wounded two other members. Awfully tragic situation that went on in Minnesota. Absolutely insane how it all happened. They went and shot up the guy's place first, and then he went over to the speaker's house and he killed her and her husband. And literally, as he's coming out of that, the police were there on the scene. And the reason why is because when the police were responding to the first incident, they were like, oh, this is not good. And is this politically motivated? And they just happened to, talking about good police work. They just happened to call the neighboring town and say, hey, we know you have, these people living in your community. You should probably do like a wellness check on them. And the police, they went right to the speaker's house, and it was that move basically that put them on the tail of this fucking guy, this goddamn asshole. Otherwise, and they almost took him out there, but there was a manhunt, and that went on for a couple of days. But this Vance Bolter, this guy's mentally ill. He's got to be mentally ill, and he had a long list of targets. The people that he was going to go after. Today, we got some text messages released that basically he sent to his wife. And the text message said, or to his wife and his family, Dad went to war last night. That's what he sent hours after the killing, the second shooting. Dad went to war last night. I don't want to say more because I don't want to implicate anybody. This guy's 57 years old. According to documents he wrote, words are not going to explain how sorry I am for this situation. There's going to be some people coming to the house armed and trigger happy, and I don't want you guys around. It's absolutely nuts. What this guy was able to pull off in just a short amount of time. But thankfully, he's in custody now, and hopefully he'll be prosecuted to the full extent of the law. Spam ticket text messages. Raise your hand, put it in the comments, say yay or nay if you were one of the people that received a text message in the last few days from the Department of Motor Vehicles, something stating that if you don't pay this fine or your toll payment or whatever is due. I've gotten at least 5 of these things, and it's a big phishing scam, huge. And the FBI just put a warning out today, warning millions of Americans, 150 million iPhone users. By the way, this is a good reason to buy the Trump phone. I don't think anybody will be trying to scam you on that because there's no bigger scam than the phone itself. Also, I'm not 100% sure text will actually be going through on this thing since it's make-believe. So probably a good bet if you don't want to get scam text messages, go to that Trump Mobile. They'll be good at that. But anyway, the text includes a link to pay fines and instructions, and it's just a big scam. You know, and by the way, it's not like it's not believable because when I got it, the first one I got, I was like, oh, this is a scam. This second one I got, I was like, I have to Google this. I have to look this up. And then I was able to confirm. The DMV is never going to text you. So I was able to confirm that way. But, you know, people might easily fall for this thing. It is a convincing little link of like, oh, did I go through one of those red lights and then not pay the bill? You know, let me click on this thing and pay it. So if you're one of the people, one of the 150 million iPhone users that got that text message, don't click on it. Don't pay it. Don't even open it. Do the thing where you go to your texts and swipe right, hit delete, and report junk immediately. That's what the FBI is warning today. Or just switch to Trump Mobile when it comes out. Like I said, you won't have those issues there. You'll be saved. Toilet paper. Last topic of the episode. Toilet paper. Do you go over or under? Cuddles, do you go over or under? You what? You go under? Crazy talk. Over. I'm an over guy. How's our marriage lasted this long? Yeah. I'm puzzled. Give me an over under in the comments right now. Do you put your toilet paper in over or under? Because a scientist has weighed in on what is the correct way to do it, and I'm going to share it with you. I just want to know what a majority of people are thinking. Are they over people or are they psychopaths? The toilet paper topic is interesting. Thanks, Flying Y. Also, thank you for gifting a membership. Flying Y has gifted another membership. So click the link in the description. Sign up. It'll be on the house because Flying Y likes to be so generous. But it only goes to the first person to get there. So if you're not the first person to get there, sign up anyway. It's $2.99. It's not that bad. It's $2.99 a month. You can do it. You can make it happen. We get a bunch more $2.99 people, and then I'll tell you what, we'll buy one of those Trump phones and give it away as a member giveaway. So there's some incentive for you. Just kidding. We're not going to do that. Rhonda says over, I think. DJ Shenanigans says I swing both ways. That's true. Sometimes I just put it on as a rush, you know, that you do have those moments. High vibes is an over. Hotels do it over. Yes. Should glutes over. Should be over. It's easier to use. That's why I'm an over guy. I feel like it's easier to tear. When it's under, I don't know where that tear is coming from. It's blocked by the toilet paper roll itself. I should have grabbed the toilet paper roll for this segment. That would have been interesting. So we could have real world a view of it. Okay. According to this, Primrose Freestone, who is a professor. That's the person's name. Primrose Freestone. Never heard a better name than that. I don't think you're ever going to get a better name than Primrose Freestone. Who told you that? Primrose Freestone told me. Who's going to argue with that person? Not me. Primrose Freestone, professor of clinical microbiology at the UK's University of somewhere that's not London, says the somewhat counterintuitive position of under is more hygienic and effective. How about that? For the under position, there is less likely to be whole roll contamination. Just when I thought my skeeve couldn't get any higher, the term whole roll contamination walked into the room. That's because handling of the toilet roll from the over position requires the user to employ two hands to extract a square after doing one's business, per the microbiologist. One hand is used to hold the roll in place so it doesn't keep spinning forward and depositing too much paper, while the other one takes the next segment. I happen to disagree. I think that's what happens when you go under. I think when you go under, you're holding because you don't know where you're yanking from. And by the way, anybody who's worth their weight in gold knows you got to yank that shit like it's a fucking tablecloth and you're trying to do that trick. You know what I'm saying? And by the way, you don't tear straight. You don't pull down. You swipe across. I should be Primstone Firestone. What was his name? I forgot it already. Primstone Freestone. My stone, your stone. We all stone for Stone Cold. Cold Stone Creamery. There's a slogan in there for somebody. I don't know if it's the WWE or the ice cream shops, but somebody could use something in there. Anyway, yeah, he is basically saying that the over people have to hold where the under people don't. I don't know how true that is. But again, I don't have the name Primrose Freestone. Should have practiced this before the show. On the other hand, under method, Primrose says, allows bathroom users to pin the sheets against the toilet wall and tear them off with the same mitt without having to touch the exterior of the roll. By only using one hand to harvest the square, the odds of transferring hand bacteria to the toilet tissue and perhaps vice versa are reduced. Meanwhile, using two paws increases the chances of spreading germs from one hand to the other. I think this is a load of crap, if I could be totally honest with you, because the hand you're pulling from is more than likely the hand that you're wiping with, is it not? Are you pulling and then transferring and then wiping? Is that what people are doing? The fuck are people doing? I don't think my second hand is going to be contaminating, because if I'm holding with this hand and I'm yanking with this hand, that's the hand I'm wiping with. I think Primrose Freestone Mason is a total liar and full of shit. I'm going to fist fight this guy if I ever see him in person. I can't be sure, but I think this person who's making these accusations, who calls himself a scientist, would also purchase a Trump phone. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it kind of sounds like that would be it. Because when that's on the other side, when you're under, you can't see it. It's so far away. You get in there and you yank. I'll tell you what, come back on Wednesday. We're going to have a toilet paper tearing seminar in the second half of the show that is going to be enlightening. It's going to be full. We're going to bring in chocolate pudding as a prop. We're going all the way. Maybe chocolate pudding is gross. All right, we'll do Nutella. And then we're gonna have a whole class right here, and we're gonna learn once and for all how to wipe your own ass and not get shit on the toilet paper roll for the rest of your friends and family. That's gonna be enlightening, everybody. You're not gonna want to miss that. Become a member just for that sort of gold alone. That's gonna be an amazing time for everybody. Okay, don't forget to let us know what's going on here. Don't forget to let us know which one of your family members plans on buying the Trump phone so that we can put them on a list. Okay? Because a list is where we need to put those kinds of people. Is our thing dying over here? What's going on over here? A little staticky going on. There we go. Sorry about that. I don't know who made the sound equipment. Trump Mobile. Ooh. Okay, stop it. Gotta go. All right. Appreciate you guys as always. Come back for the toilet paper seminar on Wednesday's episode. It's going to be huge. It's going to be amazing. There will be some fun member content over the next couple of days. I can't tell you what it is. It's going to be gross and also fun and also gross. So keep that in mind. We'll see you.
Show me potato salad.
For paper seminar day. It's going to be amazing.
Maybe we should go now.
Everybody's going to get free toilet paper. And a free Trump phone.